Welcome back, everybody. The Jönköping Major's second day continues to roll on, Nicholas.
Yep, flying through it, honestly.
That's correct. We are not Mandy and Dev. We are Nick and Parker, or Parky and Pengy.
I was going to say Parky and Pengy is what we go by these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Delightful that caught on. We're starting with a rematch of our second half of the day, because we are halfway through day number 2. And the match that started yesterday's B stream, that you and I casted, Cyclops versus Black Dragons, is upon us. Black Dragons ended up coming out ahead.
But barely, right? It was a very close game.
It was a close game.
Went to OT.
It was one of the rare close matches involving APAC.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
It has been a very rough series of days for APAC, unfortunately. And if you're curious as to what's going on with the group, your curiosity has been sated. Look at this. Sonics sitting on top of the group because of their matchup earlier today. They toppled CAG 7-4 on Clubhouse to start off the day. Black Dragons beat M&M, and it caused a bit of turmoil right now.
But there is a chance if Cyclops beats Black Dragons in regulation now, we're going to get 6 points, 5 points, 5 points, and 5 points. A three-way tie for second place, essentially. But of course, CAG, they do have the worst round diff with -7. So that's the tiebreaker situation. They're not looking too hot, even if they tie in points.
I mean, if Cyclops 7-0 Black Dragons, they will still be an even 0. They will have a worse round differential than everybody else in this group. On your screen is the probability of these teams here in Group A making it to Friday's quarterfinals. The Sonics are in excellent shape, even if they lose their matchup against M&M Gaming, which is going on the other channel on the B stream. They're still at 45%. That's not terrible, but the issue is that they've got 2 other teams nipping at their heels, Black Dragons and M&M, with pretty good odds, frankly, of making it. Cyclops doesn't have the best chance, and if they lose this matchup in regulation against Black Dragons, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So they need to show up now that matters the most, and do it against a team they're familiar with, at least, which is going to favor them because they know how Black Dragons, they played against them last time. That was happening on Bank. It was a 6-8 or 8-6 victory, rather, for Black Dragons. Cyclops got close, but not quite close enough. And here are the teams and the players on your screen. They haven't changed anything since last time. It's the same players at this event. We're not going to change that in the middle of it all. And after we cast our game last time, Parker, I got followed by, I think, most of the Black Dragons players right afterwards because we didn't follow each other. So I made some new friends. It was lovely.
I don't know if I got.
You didn't check?
Not really.
Oh, well,
I have been, I've been taking some time away from all social media.
Good for you.
I got to tell you.
Good for you.
I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. It has been very good for my mental health, but I will say that I'm very proud of you. I'm proud that they followed you. Congratulations. Great job.
Thank you. It's always fun when new players enter the space, and you're like, who are these guys? And they're like, who are those people? And you're like, oh, let's get to meet each other.
Very good.
Very good, yeah.
Very, very good. Team huddle's going on as we are just... we're just a couple minutes away.
Oh, there's no way. We're going back to Bank.
This is where the teams played yesterday. So not only is it a rematch of the teams, but it's also a rematch of the exact same map.
So typically when we go back to a map you've already played a team on, it all comes down to what can you do differently than the last time, because now you know each other's strat pool. So A, how much were you hiding the first time around, and B, how many more things do you have to show, because both teams are going with pretty similar approaches to most of the attacking side of things, and that's where we gotta see things really shape up if you wanna come out ahead. Otherwise, you already know what's gonna happen. You can pretty much play around that, predict the future, and control your outcome better.
Absolutely correct. Yesterday on the matchup on Bank, Black Dragons started on defense first. They banned out Monty and Kaid. It was Ying and Azami that were banned out by Cyclops. Will we see that continue on? Well, just based on the way that these teams ban operators, I would say there's a high likelihood, because these weren't just target bans. They were, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But they also happen to be among some of their
preference bans.
Correct.
If you will, yeah.
Most common bans, as I was going to say. It did end up going down to the wire. You said it was a close match. You were correct. 8-6. Here is a difference, though, for the team. Cyclops' 2 best players statistically did not load into the server. They had very rough days yesterday. And we're talking specifically about the man on your screen, or who was briefly on the screen, Black Ray and Gator. Today they had a better match against Sonics, significantly better, and they looked like the two players that we see play so well and frankly dominate APAC North. If they show up the same way that they did yesterday, then I'd say that that definitely boosts their chances. But not to take too much away from it. But if you remember Perez,
oh yeah.
You had, what, 21, 22
21, 22 kills?
21, 22 kills, something like that. And you know what? I got to say this. Every single community poll, CAG is always in the running, and that is impressive as.
It's impressive because not only do they keep winning it, but after losing games they arguably maybe shouldn't lose, the fans are still supporting them as well.
Okay, Black Dragons starting on defense first. So same side, same map. They ban Monty. Same ban.
Same ban.
All right. Go back to the operator bans yesterday, and it should be Ying and Azami, but I don't know if they're going to change some things up. It doesn't look like it just yet. Operator bans, so far, exactly the same as they were yesterday.
Let's see if it continues on. Is it Azami and Kaid, right? That's what's next?
I believe so.
Let's see if it matches up. Bada bing, bada boom, with a second to go, it will be Azami. So now there's one remaining operator. It can either be the Kaid, and things are exactly the same as last time, or we can offer something else. You have Valkyrie, an Echo, a Mira, a Maestro, or something along those lines, but it shall be the Kaid. So yeah, the scene is set, the same map, the same operator bands, the same two teams, but one of these two teams, actually probably both, they want different results. Black Dragons, they want to win regulation because last time they went to OT, and CAG, they just want to win, period, for them, right? Even if it's not about the points for them, they just want to get a victory on the board.
Only one win so far for APAC, and that was Direwolves over Mirage. That was it, a 7-4, 7-5 yesterday?
7-5, Theme Park.
7-5, I believe, yep.
Yep.
That is correct. You and I did not cast that match.
No, we did not.
No. We can come back now and then and talk about similarities that we see for these teams in the way that they play this match, because I have a feeling there will be some similarities. Which team learned the most? That's the question that we are going to ask. And you already said it during the preamble to the matchup, is every time a team goes to a same map with the same opponent or goes to the same map in back-to-back matchups. For example, yesterday Wolves did that. We want to talk about what have you learned, and more importantly, what have your opponents learned? Because it was CAG who ultimately came up short. What are they going to change to come out ahead this time?
Yep. I mean, right off the rip, one thing that we can kind of preset now, because we might see it pay off in about a minute and a half, is Black Ray contesting the server stairs, because that was an issue 2 rounds in a row for him in that opening game against Black Dragons, and it really should not be a problem anymore. Another issue is that CYCLOPS was not bringing the IQ to counter the information game from Black Dragons Valkyrie, and they haven't done that in this opening round either. We see a pre-play C4 already on the map to combat this exact area of the map, the rappel into CEO or double windows. So it could already pay off for Black Dragons if CAG are not careful, and Black Ray does have the shotgun. And the reasoning for that is, again, as I said earlier, to fight the server stairs member of Paceto when we get there later on.
All quiet for now. 2 rounds where we saw Black Ray really struggle to deal with that blue stairs hold. As you said, you talked about the shotgun with Black Ray, had to deal with Paceto. I don't think Black Ray ever came out ahead in that engagement yesterday. Is it going to happen this time? I'm not entirely certain. Sledge Shotgun has actually shown up a couple times today. We also saw it in our Direwolves game. This is very unique to APAC. They also used to run, I think it was Hibana Shotgun, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So.
We've seen Ying Shotgun as well, which then became meta in Europe afterwards as well. Sometimes
Hungary in particular.
Hungary in particular, exactly. Sometimes doing something that's different isn't necessarily worse or weaker. Is that no one's really thought about it before, because you might just look at it and go, that shouldn't really be a good thing to do, but then someone will actually do it successfully and be like, wait a minute, maybe there's some truth to this as a possibility of success.
Colorado takes a bit of damage as those X-Kairos go off. 2 separate players from BD in close proximity to one another. Black Ray inching down the stairs, and that will be Paceto to deal with him. Patoxy's not too far off in server. There's nobody that'll come through dirt, though. The last time that we saw this, the Valkyrie was so critical. And keep in mind, Cyclops banned a Azami. Valkyrie was the major thorn in their side, and yet they still opted to go for a regular ban that they like in Azami instead of a deliberate target ban that frankly derailed quite a number of the takes. They're going to decide to not go through blue stairs, and there's an unfortunate team kill. Anaton gets in on the fun. Basetto is dead. But Anaton can march all the way down blue now. 30 seconds remaining. At least there's some blue control for Cyclops, but I don't think they wanted to sacrifice a teammate in the process. Suzu a kill on the Patoxy. Black Dragons at even numbers now. Time running out. CAG need to go. Suppressor Matter in full effect. Ayagator takes down Perez. And the smokes go off. Toxic canisters as well. Suzu seeking shelter to go for a plant. And this is a tough spot. You are extremely vulnerable. Down goes the buck, but it's Anaton to the rescue. And 2 kills for Cyclops at the hands of Anaton to give CAG round number 1.
It was Anaton yesterday who showed up in great form, and also today in the opening round to really cover his teammate from 2 different enemies and 2 different angles at once. But he does so successfully, and that's going to give them the opening that they need. It was a messy situation on that server staircase. A team kill, a trade, a 1 for 2, and in favor of Black Dragons is not the way you want to start things off. And I was questioning where Suzu was going, because you did have 1 exothermic charge spare and 35 seconds on the clock. You could have gone server, opened up the default wall, and tried to go for a plant. But I think it just simply accounted for the fact that smoke is still on the board. Planting default is not gonna work because we can't stall out the smoke grenades. There's not enough time. Therefore, they opt for the more aggressive approach. Sprint towards that A-hatch, smoke off the deep angles, drop down and plant in a very abnormal position, because those toxic babes are not gonna hit that area at all, and it worked out greatly. You have to trust your teammates to cover you in that position, but with that trust and with what just happened, it was a massive success, and it paid off very, very well.
Already showing that they've made some minor corrections. I like that they got the hatch open. They clear out server. Decide that you can isolate Basetto. No, 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 no.
They're shooting the default cam and someone stepped too far forward or someone pressed the button too early. Not that you're gonna start the round.
2 rounds in a row with team kill.
Yeah.
That might be unheard of at this level.
The thing is, last time this match occurred to us yesterday, it was like, I think it was Black Dragons didn't shoot the default cam outside.
That's correct, yeah.
Now Cyclops is like, guys, don't make that same mistake. We gotta get the default cam. But they were so eager to check that off their checklist that they rushed it, right? And then like it got too close to somebody else's head, and now they're missing a player instead. It's something that used to happen rather frequently back in the earlier days of Pro League, where the skill level, generally speaking, was just a lot lower. And as time has gone on, has progressed, and people have gotten better at the game, this is something that we really rarely see these times. But sometimes it does happen. Just like sometimes the default cam will not be shot, even though it should be. Now, if you're a Cyclops, this round is like you can't really remove it from the game. You still have to, try this round and play it out, but I think it's time to get more aggressive and take some risks now, because you're starting from behind, and that's never really the ideal situation, obviously. So if you see an opening, go for it. Take that risk, try and leverage back the numbers to even ground, and then play it out 4 versus 4.
Absolutely correct. Lone office wall gets opened up, and that's Suzu upside down, staring deep in. Gatorado will follow up on whatever intel has been gained. Suzu's still in this spot. More of it being opened up. Silhouettes close by, but just not quite within range and not quite within reach. Black Ray on Repel. Gridlock with LMG. That is certainly a change for CAG too.
Yeah, that is an operator we did not see the last time around.
No gridlock was played whatsoever, and I mean, we haven't physically seen a gridlock in any of our matches.
No, we haven't. Anaton on the OSA is a very familiar face, however, and it's often the lobby member, right? Because there's so many wide angles inside of lobby itself, but Anaton, with that talent shield, can walk on in and try and get cover and establish like a foundation for Suzuki to follow him afterwards, try and challenge Paris inside of this 4-window room.
There's a logic bomb going off. Aiding and assisting Black Dragons. Blackray tries to play off of the sound. Doesn't hear much at all. Perez capitalizing. Suzu, the very first kill. CYCLOPS, of course, will trail through all of this as the team kill earlier had put them at a disadvantage. Gatorada and Suzu are the only two left as both teams have watched their numbers fall. Gatorada sees the Jaeger of Nade, cannot complete it, and it's Perez on this bomb site. He loves that MP5.
Every time.
A 4K yesterday in the same spot, and today I believe that's 3 on the round, at least 2 by my count, and Black Dragons can answer back with a round of their own.
Perez really is just a consistent fragger for Black Dragons, it appears, and he plays the same positions and roles as last time, but he did actually change up his positioning in the room that he was in. He was playing tighter in the corners after getting the initial kill, allowing CYCLOPS to come to him as he was prepared for it, rather than him swinging out aggressively like he did last time around. Because it was 1 versus 3. He can't fight 3 guns at once, so you gotta kind of sidestep back and forth and pick your timings for those initial fights. We see the playoff qualification probability between these two teams here, and as you see, Regulation also see a 1% chance, probably not gonna make it, but a Regulation victory does give them a 31% chance at making it to playoffs. Whereas Black Dragons, 78% if they were to take CHG right here, right now, before going to overtime. Attacker repicked in full effect, Bog, Ayana, Hibana, Nuke, and Thermite. So we're gonna be playing off very heavy frag potential from the side of CHG. No real utility operators, no glass, no OSA, nothing of that kind, which is normally what they do bring. Anderton, the flex player, has chosen to go for the Nuke. We're gonna probably sneak around the map here. Could be garage to apply bomb site pressure, or just try and get inside the building and pick apart these roamers that they have really good intel of right now. For example, Patox in the main stairs. Black Dragons, same lineup as before. I believe the Wamai is new, but besides that, nothing's really changed. Ion still bringing that Valkyrie, Basetto gonna play the Wamai on the server stairs, and then Nade plays deep on the bomb site to stall for time to use those toxic babes in that sub 45-second mark.
No team kill yet.
No team kill yet, no. It's a great start.
Still plenty of time.
Can always happen. Ion with a mid-round reinforcement to close off the vault wall in case that hatch gets opened up. And Perez has to actively hold the garage entry point because of that Nuke being open. You can't just watch a Valkyrie camera, that's not going to give you anything against the Nuke. It's that kind of pressure that Nuke is applying where normally you can just flick between a couple of cameras and gain that vital information, but now you can't trust that information at all because if they do have the Nuke, they're going to walk straight past it. No chance to see her.
This blue hold that we see, quite important. Anaton foregoing the garage take. Instead, we'll head through sewers, and it'll be the escape tunnel not too far off of Patoxy, playing behind that server rack. Basetto still at the top of blue stairs, same spot that you're used to seeing him play in.
It's a good change because CAG has not applied pressure from sewers yet, so that's a small adaptation that they've made for this round in particular.
Absolutely is. Buck from above to cut off that angle. Nobody in any real contest at this point. Open up some of the protection that you'd see by that red hallway leading back into gold and vault. That's the default spot that you're going to see from the defenders. At some point when you go for the execute, Black Dragons will be called into action, and if you can keep the Buck upstairs to hold that angle, you can easily cut off one of those Black Dragons players that will emerge from that spot.
Gatorada's dropped the defuse at the backside executes enabling right now.
Gatorada flashing his way in. Suzu the first kill. That's the player inside of gold. Gator was watching that spot. Doesn't need to hold on to it as much anymore. Nade taking some damage from Gatorada as they engage. And, well, the smoke is going to win that one out quite well. Loses most of his HP in the process. Perez right now inside of garage. He'll come to Nade's rescue in just a moment. Nade losing the wall into vault. Patoxy takes out Anaton, and there's Nade to get slaughtered by Blackray, but Perez again comes to the rescue, and it's actually a team kill that does it. Suzu tries to vault on over, but Patoxy is ready, and Black Dragons manage to stick it and not forfeit the round to CAG. They'll take 2 in a row.
So this round in particular is one of those aha moments where one team showed a very different approach to the round than last time, and that was CYCLOPS. They did not do that kind of attack last time around at all. They went for a lobby hatch drop with 3 members, trying to bait the execute, or rather execute the execute, but then they had one vital member of Anderson inside of sewers, waiting for that rotation to happen from servers, but he lost the gunfight against Petoxy, and when that happened, you're only attacking from one side of the map. There's no split pressure anymore, and Petoxy can rotate back towards the bomb site and help his teammates because he knows the coast is clear. Basetto also on that server side, on the server stairs itself, they know there's no pressure at all, and that means the last 3 members of CIG are stuck in a meat grinder between 2 different forces from Black Dragons. That means basement's locked, CEO was also successfully defended, and that now puts us in a position where, well, open area is next, and very different operators are being showcased right now on our screen. We're seeing the Capcan. The nature of this operator on this bomb site makes perfect sense, because when you play open area, you're gonna try and scatter out as much as possible, whereas the base and bomb site, you don't have to roam, but you can if you want to. You can play the bomb site with 5 members, like Black Dragons just did, but for open area, completely different story. The bomb site is very fragile. Verticality, hatches, easy to breach walls from the bottom square area. So instead, you want to get all around the map. Use the castle barricades to limit angles and to compartmentalize the building, and then use those Capcan traps for information to slow the attackers down. And if all goes well, do a lot of damage onto some players from CYCLOPS.
Let's go back and reflect on what we saw in yesterday's matchup, Nick, between these 2 teams. Well, we have a bit of downtime right now. They were staring at each other of CAG very intently. CAG liked their very quick burst into the bomb site. They did it with the smokes and then got the diffuser planted right by the doorway. All they needed to do was take out the single player from Black Dragons who was positioned over by that staff area.
Yep.
Don't really see them there right now.
It looks like a similar setup, though. I mean, 3 members, server stairs, 1 back alley door. The thing is, Black Dragons, look at this. They're rotating forward. Petoxy's right there to challenge.
And Petoxy takes the engagement, but loses his out to Iagator. Marches in, sees the reinforced walls inside of Archives. It's Basetto sitting by the doorway that connects the 2 bomb sites. Black Dragons have the upper floor, still under watch. Perez and Ion in that particular position, where you have a late flank, as you see when that upstairs is held. Drop through lobby and go through Archives and then Tellers, or Tellers then Archives. That's what the Nomad is for. Ion and Nade upstairs, both of them doing excellent work. Ion circling back towards square stairs. A bit apprehensive about a player located by the double doorway outside. CAG now trails in terms of numbers, 3v4. Black Dragons started off yesterday's series 3-1, and they are primed and ready to do the same.
Yep, CAG forced to slow down now because they didn't get what they wanted, and the members of Black Dragons are all across the map, but a good kill from Gatorado is going to open things up a bit more here with 45 seconds to go. But when you don't have any real heartbreaks besides the ace, it can be hard to find a way in through the bomb side.
CAG have had some problems with where they want to prioritize their execute. They'll open up one of the walls inside of Archives and then do the same towards the staff area. Nade is wary of somebody towards Printer, but that's not where CAG seems to be amassing their forces.
Oh, what?
Basetto killed from behind. That Selma opens things up, and it allows him to get that pick. That was a relative freebie on the wall. That was the Archives wall that we talked about. That leaves just 2 for Black Dragons on the bomb site, but here's Perez on the flank. He can make so much noise and do so much damage, but Iagator is waiting for it. Perez will need to win the gunfight. Fire through the walls as the diffuser goes down, but you are just a little bit off target. Taking damage as a flash goes out in front of his eyes as well. Perez wasting time, 4 kills, looking to add to that tally, but it's a crossfire established by CAG to lock up the round. No 3-1 start for Black Dragons this time. It's a tie game at 2 rounds apiece.
I was saying it's going to be hard to get to the bomb site as with ace because either you make a vault hole or a crouch hole. Neither is very ideal to push from, but I mean, when you get Basetto like that from behind because of that Selma breach, everything becomes so much easier. The deployable shield position denied, toxic babes denied, and the most vital front 4 position defense also denied. And it seemed like Basetto thought the audio he heard from the Selma charge was the one in front of him, when in fact there was another one going off right behind him as well. And for Black Dragons, they fall. They played around the map, but the way Cyclops attacked, they didn't really gain much from it. With that limited kind of style that CAG likes on that bomb site, it doesn't matter if you roam all across the map. You only care about square, top square, bottom square, and archives. That's really it. So all they did was walk up the server staircase, take that initial gunfight, and that really just started things off and with a bit of a snowball effect. But now we're gonna go back upstairs. And this is where Perez, sitting on 4 kills right now, tied first for his team. He always shows up. Normally on the dock, this time on the Warden. Smoke grenades is something that CAG, they love to use throughout all their matches. Whether it's the glass or the Ossa or the thermite, they typically always bring one set, very frequently at least. And they will so this time as well. Suzy on the thermite is bringing 1 pair of smokes. There's no glass to follow.
EMP's in the hands of Anaton Zosa, by the way.
So that 90 or Kanto wall, as some teams refer to it as.
Kanto spot where he used to play the Echo, that's correct.
Yep. No jammers or bandits on the map though, so it's not really required. That's the wall right there. You need to bring that set of EMPs because it's really hard to nade that spot. And also it's like low value as well just to nade a jammer. So the EMPs are brought as a precaution in case that's going to be a problem. It won't be though.
Ion's the one guarding that wall, and by extension can also see to the top of spiral stairs. That can give you a lot of presence in the lobby, even though you're not actually in the lobby yourself.
Bit of a waiting game now.
Absolutely. On rappel, heading through square stairs. Double reinforced walls there. This is another CEO defense. Black Dragons successful on this bomb site the only other time that they defended it. They got the first pick, but they were also aided in some ways by the fact that there was a team kill from CAG. Anaton's shield is positioned in such a way that he's going to take damage. Ayagator bursts on in, and they're just going to take the engagement right now, dealing damage to Black Dragons as best as they can, coming out ahead with 2 picks. 1 for Basetto, but he's slaughtered by Suzu. Logic bombs prevent them from going quietly, but Patoxy does some serious damage, gets the down, and confronts the Osa around the shield. That is a tough spot to be in. CAG might be able to get on in, and they've managed to, well, waste time. 1 minute to go. Black Dragons will watch Ion still continue to bleed out. Late logic bomb here. CAG not particularly keen to get in and actually do anything with this. They got a couple opening picks. They were in the middle of the bomb site, but they just haven't done anything, Nick. There we go. Anaton getting diffuser down. Nade dies to Black Ray. Patoxy heads in. He'll be able to get Ion back up from the dead. So now 2 cohorts, both of whom very low on HP, playing off those deployable shields. Ion got back up, but it wasn't for much longer as Black Ray finishes him off. Patoxy doing more work. 30 seconds left on that diffuser. You got to be able to find where they are. They've spotted you via the drone. Are you going to get caught as you walk right now into Janitor? Patoxy sees 1 long range on rappel. Manages to avoid the Osa for but a moment, and it's Anaton to get the very final pick. CAG grabs the lead.
And you said they weren't really doing anything, which is true, but for CAG to do nothing usually means they're just taking their time to not throw the round, because that has been one of their problems. I say throw, and I mean it very sparingly. I mean like they're just literally throwing rounds, but they seem to get ahead of themselves when they have the lead and not think things fully through. And they took a solid 25-30 seconds to say, okay, how do we safely escort the diffuser in towards the bomb site? All right, Anaton is playing the Osa. Do we have a talent show somewhere? Yes, we do. Let's move it on over, place it down, turn around, start planting, and while that's occurring, Black Ray rotated to that CEO/double window rappel and could cover that line of sight as well. So they're just really making sure that when they get into that plant position, that it's gonna go down safely. When CAG last played Black Dragons, it was Ayagator and Gatorada that played let's go again. Black Ray and Gatorada that didn't really play up to their standards of APAC North in terms of fragging and numbers. Then earlier today, it was the supportive cast of Cyclops that did not show up. But now, look at this. It's a very even scoreline across the board. 4 kills, 3 kills, 3 kills, 4 kills, 5 kills. This is the entire team showing up, front line and back line. That's exactly what they need now. Every single member is doing their job and playing their role. and they got the lead. 3-2 so far in favor of CYCLOPS.
CYCLOPS had started off on the wrong side of a 3-1. Already more competitive than they were in yesterday's matchup. It took CYCLOPS until the 7th round to get 3 rounds in total. They're now beating that score by 2. That's not a bad stretch to be in. And they've avoided making some of the mistakes and avoided some of the problems that befell them yesterday. Obviously the big ones involving that downstairs bomb site. And in particular also involved some mistakes from their star players in the actual matchup. Now, these players have still made some of those mistakes today. 2 team kills obviously obviously impacted rounds 1 and 2, obviously. But look at the score lines right now.
Yeah.
Everybody on CAG is keeping pace with one another, and you don't have Perez running amok on the Black Dragons, and that is honestly huge on its own.
That's very true. It's now a slow round as Black Dragons are refusing to go on the offensive. They did it in overtime when we got there the previous time around. It's a full-on turtle shot in basement again. The smoke, the warden, the Valkyrie being brought almost every single round from them. Nade does have the FMG on the smoke, allowing Basetto to do shotgun duties to enable that long line of sight behind the deployable shield for Nade. And Susu popping open one hatch. We got more to go. How is CAG going to deal with servers is the big question. You have a Warden on the staircase and Patoxy on Wamai behind the shield on the server rack. It's not an easy task at all, but it has to happen. Otherwise, you cannot take server control whatsoever.
Look at the patience on Black Ray. Anaton just waiting for one of them, and there we go.
Big.
An opportunity presents itself as Patoxy looks in. Perez, the first kill for Black Dragons, keeps things into a 4v4. Perez likes this spot down in garage. Look at long range.
Oh my.
Basetto, what is happening here? He manages to get Gatorada, but they trade out perfectly. Anaton can set up shop. There's a smoke on the board, and Nade will try to get those toxic canisters in place.
They can stick it.
I believe Black Ray can pull this one off, as Anaton's not taking any damage. The smoke misses. Excellently played by CAG, but now they've lost the advantage as Ion takes out Anaton. Perez retaking, gets spotted on drone. That's on main stairs. Where, oh, where is he going to go with Nade right by his side? My goodness, Suzu, you should not be there. Through open area gets picked off by Black Dragons. It's all up to Black Ray. And he loses it to Nade. Remarkable play by Black Dragons. They have plenty of time to hop on that diffuser. I don't know who they're going to give it to. There it goes. Give it to Nade. Why not? First half, 3-3 in the books.
Bit of a shame that Susu was caught sprinting inside of open area because, I mean, you know they're flanking main stairs. There was a drone that was shot by Paris just moments before, and it's a tough position. There's a rotate in that soft wall between the A hatch area and Archives room right next to it. Then you have open area as well. You have a hatch above you. Like, where exactly are you going to be playing? It's hard to make that choice in the moment. But in a perfect world, you gotta think about that before you get there. So when you are presented with that problem, you already have the answer, because that 1 second of doubt or 1 second of hesitation really makes a big difference. And in this specific instance, it's Suzuki sprinting when you should be either hiding or preparing for a gunfight that's about to occur. They got the server control. I want to praise Basetto, because what you just saw in that replay clip, getting 1 kill and some damage through in that 1 versus 3 on server stairs is incredible value to get out of that. Because normally, if your teammate falls inside of server, you should be done for. You should not have much to accomplish on the server stairs itself, unless the enemy just messes up. But that was Basetto playing well. He meleeed the Ultra Shield, forcing that backwards, took the confrontation, knowing that's the second member behind him, because that's how the buddy system works with a shield player, and then gets the kill. And that really was there to make the difference, because imagine CAG had 1 more member alive. The flank could have been held, we could have held servers stronger together, and it just means that that 12 seconds that was left in the round, well, there was 1 more member there to fight that clock, basically. Now instead we're tied up, 3-3, side swap, immediately opening round. Black Dragons, as I said, last time they respected the Valkyrie and information came from CAG by playing IQ most rounds. Very first round, they bring the IQ, they bring the Dokubi, they have full counter units towards these specific gadgets. Whereas CAG, they do play those information operators, but they also play very aggressive off the roam. Oryx, Alibi, Melusi, these are all operators that can put down the gadget tree and just start going crazy and take fights very comfortably across the map.
This is something that we touched upon yesterday as well. There were a couple rounds where I think it was Anaton, it might have been Iagator. One of them was running an IQ on this map, but never on the bomb sites where Valkyrie was most prevalent. In terms of information, it's hard for you to see a Nitro Cell coming, and the Valkyrie, who was such a crucial operator for Black Dragons, proves to be the same. That Nitro Cell from CYCLOPS takes out Perez. Perez has stayed consistent, 5-5, but again, this win con for CYCLOPS is not allowing one of these players to become that fabled raid boss that we talk about. And Black Dragons is being kept human at this point. Both teams are consistent. Nobody is really taking off. There's no real standout performers that are dominating the game at this moment. And I honestly think that bodes really well for CYCLOPS, given what we've seen from them and the way that they've lost matches over the last 2 days.
It does. I mean, right now as well, the value from this Valkyrie camera on the main stairs, Ion, he already killed one yokai drone there, so he's gonna assume the coast is clear in terms of information. But not only that, there are still roamers actively hiding, and they have no idea. There's the diffuser case on the ground, Basedo, free kill for Iagator. He can just sit here now, stall for time, they have to come to him.
It's 5v3 for a minute left.
Oh! Wow.
But it's a 4v3. Ion pounces upon Aegator. That was the Oryx playing from above, and now he'll go into cam duty. Watch that yokai. Position down on the bomb site. As long as Suzu can stay alive, the yokai can do some impressive work if the diffuser goes down. Diffuser finally in the hands of Ion. They have exactly one hard breach left, and that's that can opener in Nade's hands. He's walking it. Well, it's gone off, but he was walking on over towards the lobby. Black Ray engages with Ion. Patoxy's there as well. Nade is the last one standing for Black Dragons. Takes the head off of Black Ray, or what little was left of him. Size him up. Oh, Suzu, your feet are showing. 2 seconds left for Nade to get 2 more kills, but nobody from CAG is going to give him that. CYCLOPS regains the lead. This one is as close as we probably expected, and they've got their 4th round coming off of their very first round on attack being a success.
Yeah, the question now is like basement is arguably the best bomb site for CAG, so what can they make happen with both CEO, open area, and then Archives Tellers? Because last time during a tactical timeout, they CAG was hovering Archives Tellers for a solid 10 seconds, so they do have strats for it. They considered bringing it out last time, but they've been saving it. This could be the time to pull it out. This is going to be a team timeout. I'm gonna assume from Black Dragons because they want to lose the round. Coach is talking, so it's not a technical issue at all.
Yeah, frankly, I'd be a little surprised if this was a timeout from CYCLOPS, but...
Yeah, they've been doing well. Unless it was to discuss that Archives Tellers bomb site, which I don't know yet. But either way, when one team calls for the timeout, both teams can talk. So, it goes both ways. It will be open area. Still holding on to those strats for now. I am curious to see the Bandit here. Normal, so Bandit's obviously brought for wall deny. That's a given. But we don't see a Bandit tricking on this bomb site since year 2 of Rainbow Six Siege, which was a very long time ago. But it absolutely can work. Same concept as Clubhouse, right? You pick either the small box wall where Anaton is sitting right now, or the quadruple wall inside of open area. And you see Anaton hiding inside this small closet because he doesn't want to get found out. Because if you drone out the Bandit in the middle of in the drone phase rather, you know he's there. Then he can trick the walls. So by hiding, he can ensure that he doesn't get seen. And then just when the execute comes out where they want to breach open the walls, he starts tricking the walls and he stops them dead in their tracks. Last time Black Dragons, they're using the Sense Operator, which is being picked here as well as the attacker repick, to cut off the bomb set in half, deny vision, and then we'll just walk on in, especially with the help of Ion's Talon Shields covering the flank up above. So Black Dragons are opting for the same style execute as last time, and CAG, they've clearly prepared for it.
Not related to this match, but I just heard what was a barbarian scream.
Yeah, a roar.
Yeah, goodness gracious. That's it. Who... the other players in this group?
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's what? That's Sonics versus Eminem.
Yes,
right now.
yes, it would be.
So I'm curious as to which team that was, but again, we'd like to remind you that you can watch both of these streams together at the same time. They were squad streaming last I checked, so if you want to tune into one of them, go right ahead.
That's the top 4 flank watch that I spoke of. 1 Talon Shield for Janitor Hallway, 1 for the soft floor and CO in case it gets opened up. Same as before. The downside of this is that you don't have a Talon Shield for the bomb site itself, but that's where Bassetto's sense comes into play. You use those smokes to cut the line of sight, but look at this. Alligator, with the behind a deployable shield, with the Warden, can see through smokes. Anderton, sitting patiently, jam on the wall to take the first EMP or grenade that comes over, and then you can trick the wall afterwards. The bad thing for Black Dragons is it's Ion who has the EMP grenades. You gotta walk down the staircase, or at least get a bit of line of sight, then toss those EMPs, start using those cell mats, and that's where Anderton can shine and trick it. Let's see what happens.
Well, you gotta get the EMPs on down there. There they go.
It's
but Anderton gets one. No, he decides that not both of them are available, but it doesn't open up an even patch. They're not going to be able to get through the wall as you see it, Nick. Bassetto, the very first pick. It's on to Alligator. Sense holding on to the DMR. It's going to be a dangerous spot. When are we going to see those gadgets get rolled out from Sense? Now it's Black Ray watching from inside. There's a Nitro Cell tossed out, but it goes off a little bit too late. Nade takes down Black Ray. CYCLOPS losing all over the map right now. Only a little bit of damage has been done to the ace of Perez. Hanaton pounced upon by Perez as we talked about him, and Suzu is all that stands between a flawless round for Black Dragons. Diffuser in the hands of Bassetto getting planted. Can Suzu do anything about it? No, he can't. Nade cuts him down the side, and indeed it is flawless for Black Dragons. Back-to-back, these teams win their rounds, and it's 4-4. It almost seems certain that we're going to go the distance.
I want to try something. All right, you ready, Parker? We didn't script this. I just want to point this out. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Twitch Prime.
Twitch Prime who?
Twitch Prime, which you can use on this channel right here for those sweet Twitch emotes that we got on the channel. We got like 25 emotes, 5 if you follow the channel, 20 gets unlocked if you subscribe. That happened yesterday. Do you know that?
Sick.
Yeah, there you go.
Very, very cool. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
No, now I feel terrible.
Any more shilling you'd like to do?
No more shilling? I was asked kindly if we could shout out the fact that this new feature has been implemented, and I was like, you're not gonna do it. So I was like, I'll take that upon my own shoulders. Carry that burden and that weight of exposing myself to what some people would call the cringeness. But we did it. 10 seconds on the clock in prep phase. We're upstairs. ZEO. And things really aren't changing all that much from either side. Anderton brought the clash yesterday, brought it out earlier this morning, and again, just bring it out for a third time, because why not? It wasn't that CEO defense where Anderton played it. It did not really pan out. He was the last member alive in that 1 versus 2 against Black Dragons and lost that ultimately. Ideally, the Clash shouldn't be the last member to survive, right? You want to have the Clash lead the charge to someone behind the operator to find success. Play aggressively off the information, do damage by sapping the opponent, slow them down, etc. If you can.
All right. Only one timeout has been taken. That was the Black Dragons timeout. We didn't go through the first half, but in terms of opening picks, the teams have been relatively even. They've been relatively even across the board. Nade is the one standout performer for Black Dragons. He's really taken off in terms of kills. CAG staying consistent in regards to nobody on the team really getting ahead of one another. I like that Black Dragons brought the IQ, Nick, for just that downstairs take, which is, again, the opposite of what CAG was doing yesterday. Valkyrie has a disproportionate impact when defending downstairs, so it stands to reason that you would bring IQ. Oh, it's a tough spot for Anaton to be in.
Oh, the jammer doesn't reach. That's unfortunate.
Well,
gets EMP'd anyway.
The jammer's gone. Nade picks up his 12th kill. Black Dragons starting off this round quite well. They'll have to confront the Clash at some point.
This is very similar to what happened last time. And again, Anderton has no backup, no support. He has the information, but he can't fight back alone. Someone else has to help this man out. Otherwise, you're going to lose that map control very briefly. When that CEO window being opened up as well, and talent shows being pushed up from Basetto, you're slowly losing control now for CAG.
CAG just going to be continued to fall back into the bomb site, pushed back well from their spots. Oh, Suzu sees one but cannot connect as much as he wants. Down goes Anaton. That's the shield taken care of. It could have been yet another kill for Black Dragons. Ion, I believe, is the one that was the target, but he only took a tiny, tiny bit of damage, and the echo of Suzu drops right into the waiting arms of Nade, and he's finished off. Black Ray sees the shield in the hands of Osa, but can't really do much about it. He'll shoot away, but it's completely useless. A player on the stairs of Alligator manages to take out Nade. That's at least a good shout. Black Ray's alone on the bomb site, and suddenly Black Dragons know it, and they really want blood. They're coming for him. Black Ray far enough away, takes out Perez. How much more damage can he do? Nitro Cell from below connects onto Basetto. That diffuser will need to be picked back up and planted. That's Patoxy to do it. They won't have the wealth of time, so behind the desk, down goes the Dokkaebi. Ion the only one to cover, but this is relatively easy for Alligator to stop them in his tracks. No way to stop the late flank, and CAG go back into the lead.
That's a huge round for them as well, because it looked like it was over. I mean, it was a 3 versus 5 once Anaton fell as a second member, and it looked like there was no ground to be had and nowhere to fight. Once Suzu dropped that generous hatch and got shut down by Nade immediately, I'm like, what are they gonna do? It's a 2 versus 5 at this point. But with good aggression, finding isolated members, and Black Dragons not taking that precaution that they should have, it works out. And that's kind of where, if we go back to when CYCLOPS attacked that very same bomb site, they had that 25-30 seconds of they're doing nothing. Black Dragons arguably should have taken that same time to fully think through what the steps should be. Nobody was on the window rappel to stop the members of CAG from moving around. Nobody was there to cover the planter if Sophia were to die, and the moment that happened, the C4 came from below as well, because you don't have all the map control, you don't have all the pieces that you need. So really good adaptation from CAG once again, understanding the win conditions from Black Dragons. 5-4, they're back in the lead. They're taking control and they're taking charge. Perez now on the Jackal. First time we see this operator in this matchup trying to help isolate members, because the aggressive roam from CAG is always a problem. I don't believe Black Dragons has ever won a basement attack where they had to clear out the roamers first. Not right now, not yesterday either. Patoxy secondary hop breach with the nuke. So actually sacrificing those frag grenades, despite also having a buck that same secondary heart breach. You don't have a lot of utility if you're Black Dragons right now, but you got a lot of very lethal guns.
Well, the cycle being the way it is, and Black Dragons being able to go back downstairs, CAG being able to go back downstairs, Black Dragons have brought out the IQ. Yet again.
As is necessary.
Our favorite German operator. Maybe not yours.
I was gonna say
it's actually not mine either, but
okay, you're just outright lying about that.
Every operator is my favorite operator. Yeah, that's how it works.
True.
Well, Black Dragons have very quickly cleared out that top floor. Anaton takes some damage from what I assume is the skeleton key of Nade. That was the sound that we heard going off. And while Black Dragons have cleared out the top floor, they haven't been able to take out the Valk cams. And there's a couple players from CAG that are holding positions around the main floor right now.
Look at that pen flip on the player cam as well. I don't know if you saw that, but the coach of CAG...
Coach has been doing it all game, yeah.
I just realized it right now. Great, same C4, same spot as last time on that stock double door entryway, and now we can fall back and save some of that manpower. I still believe Gatorado is waiting in that corner for one more drone perhaps, but most of CAG's members have chosen to live, essentially, just stay alive in the basement.
Oh, they choose to live.
They choose to. If you stay, you're basically choosing.
I choose life.
Yeah, you see, you drop. I choose life. Boom, you survive. If you stick around, you are sure to get taken off the board, because 3 members of BD, they're about to storm into open area, or not. They just walked away.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Underneath the hatches, waiting for one of the players from Black Dragons to greet them. Basetto up top has a soft hatch over Abe, but...
That's awkward.
I do like that some teams are apprehensive, because there could be a Nitro somewhere
waiting for you. Oh, the Capkin trap!
Perez doesn't seem to look down below, and that's the second Kapkan trap that at least I've seen today. There was one on the TSM Team Liquid game as
Achieve got shut down with that one.
On a very crucial round.
Yeah, very crucial round.
Black Dragons realizing that the hatches aren't going to work. They're going to go for a real default take. Gator taking serious damage from what could be the hatch, could be the main door. Flames will go, and Nitro Cell is primed and ready in the hands of Kapkan, who from Black Dragons will receive it. Cyclops are in such good shape. There's Basetto to drop. Nitro Cell goes down. It's Ion to fall, and a flawless round from CAG as they move to match point.
They got a C4 kill, weapon kill, a Kapkan trap kill, and a knife kill all in the same round. There's so many different ways to really take the members out from Black Dragons, but using everything at their disposal, essentially. And now they are... This is the hardest point for Cyclops. When they're on match point, when they have one more round to close things out, that is arguably the biggest weakness for this team, at the very least, in this tournament. This is where things usually get really dire, they get grim, and we start seeing patterns that we don't like. Either a bit of hesitation, the pressure, the nerves, whatever you want to call it. They don't deliver when they need to. There's a chance right now, both this round and the next, to rectify the past, to make up for those lost rounds, and that is to show that taking Black Dragons back to bank where you lost previously was not a bad decision. And you gotta prove that by actually beating them in regulation and not go OT again. Operators, IQ, we have to bring it. Those C4s, that information, it's a problem. We saw it. 2 C4 kills in 4 rounds. Not great. CAG, they're bringing the same lineup minus the Bandit. The Bandit tricking last time, it was impactful, I would say, because the Selma breach was scuffed. But it wasn't the difference maker, and it didn't really work out for them, so they're gonna bring something else instead.
CAG have been in this position before. They have fallen short. This is a team that loves to break the hearts of its fans.
Yeah.
Will they be able to finally get a victory here? The only APAC team that has been successful is Dire Wolves over Mirage.
Yeah.
That's it.
Not the team you would expect before the tournament started. I know a lot of people were, and still are, frankly, rooting for CAG. And there's still time for them to do things, and they can still make it out of the groups. But they need to do it here. That's where it has to begin, where it has to start. Otherwise, if they don't win this, I mean, it's a very low chance.
Remember, this is the Chaos timeline.
Yeah.
Cyclops needs to win in regulation, get those 3 points, and move up to tie M&M and Black Dragons. Was that not it?
Yeah, that is correct.
That was it?
Yeah, you nailed it.
My math is correct. Very good.
Yeah, they're gonna have 3 teams and 5 points if this happens. Of course, that is before the result of the game on the B stream that's happening right now as well, but still, they need these points. Time is ticking down, 1:35, and Black Dragons are going for a limited lobby side attack. A very different one from what they've chosen us before. They always go square, the same approach, the same flying call from the same operators, but this is very different from them. And CAG, now they're working with, we don't know what's about to happen, we gotta figure that out as it unfolds in front of us. That's where things might get hard for them.
Posted up inside of open area. This is the only bomb site that has been won by Black Dragons. They did so flawlessly. Round number 8. Methodically hunting down the offsite players from CAG. Gatorado will open up maybe a distraction or just a pathway from Archives into Tellers.
Oh.
Nade will be able to find him very quickly on. It forces the Valkyrie out, but not into the waiting arms of Black Dragons, not yet. I want to say the walls are closing in, but the walls are outright disappearing. Gatorada outduels Ion. Nade goes in. Patoxy finishes off, but he gets traded. It's Black Ray to capitalize off of that. 30 seconds to go, and Cyclops have the lead. They have the advantage.
Gatorada did so much work there. Just simply staying alive for as long as he did and getting killing a trade is massive value. That might be the difference maker. Let's see what they can do. 20 seconds on the clock.
Perez has that diffuser in hands. He drops and will need somebody to watch him as he takes out Black Gray at even numbers. 3v3 in the final 20 seconds. The final 10 seconds on the board. Diffuser goes down in the blink of an eye. And Ayagator doing damage to Perez. Down he goes. Bassetto's in as well. They don't know it though. He gets a free pick and pivots towards what could have been a flank from CAG. He reads it well. Suzu's in that position. And they will collide on the stairs. Bassetto loses it, though. They trade. Never mind. Anaton is on the diffuser. Nade needs to shut him down. Anaton gets off of it. Nade just waiting his time, wasting his time, wasting his time. He has to drop. The timer continuing to go down. Nade is playing this perfectly. Cyclops yet again in an act of desperation, but they'll lose the round, and we will go to all 12 as Black Dragons wins round number 11. And they're 5th on the board.
A bit of a heartbreak of a round because it did everything right in the first 2 minutes for CIG, that is. And then what happened, they were really playing really passive and far back. I mean, Wamai had 2 impact grenades that could have been spent to open up that cabinet where the plant was going down. I'm going to assume that nobody heard the OSA walk in, nobody saw the OSA walk in, therefore they had no idea the plant was actually about to go down successfully. And once it does, the postman is way too good from up above. And Nade made a really wise decision. He was on that single window towards the copy printer area on the bomb side, and when it was halfway through planting the bomb down, he went upstairs to stock where he can hold his ground in case that postman position was required, which it was. And it's almost impossible in Siege when you're in that moment as a defender to win it. It's a 7-second counter defuse, and the bug who's right above you, he can hear it, he can time it, he can just play down the clock, and then at some point when you don't know, he's gonna peek you. You can't really do much because you're looking down towards the floor. Final chance to Cyclops now. They get to change the bomb site, they get to go CEO instead, which last time it wasn't pretty. It was a 2 versus 5 clutch, but it worked. And Black Dragons, they found success by changing their attack and strategy on open area. So I'm curious to see if they will do the same thing for CEO. They've always attacked the square side. They don't typically go lobby. So if they were to repeat that same pattern of changing things around, they would have to go for a lobby attack.
This is a very similar story to what we saw yesterday in terms of round count. Black Dragons were ahead for most of the match. Cyclops stormed back and then moved to match point. And while on match point, they squandered it. Round number 12 went to Black Dragons, and then to overtime, where Black Dragons won 2 rounds in a row.
It's the first video that we've seen. I think it's the first video that I've seen all tournament that we've cast. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I don't believe we have seen it.
No, I don't believe so.
Not that I can remember.
No, I don't think we have.
I'm trying to recall. Not that I ever saw a Vigil be a prominent part of a defense.
Ooh. They missed him, unless they heard him.
He's still in the
and
spot.
they saw him. Gadget is on. They don't know the exact whereabouts, of course. That's the benefit of that Vigil scanner, the cloaking ability. Also works to counter Lion. Not that there's one on the board this round, of course, but does work. Phone calls are still a problem, so are Jackal. Jackal scans, that is. Black Dragons, what they have changed around more than anything is they're taking as much time as they need. It's late round-based executes. They do not want to throw any bodies. They don't want to die to C4s. They're just saying, guys, let's get to the building. Let's get near the bomb site before anybody takes any massive risks and, die. You want to have 5 against 5 in this scenario.
Selma's work this time around. No patchwork design that we see on the wall that'll allow Black Dragons to get in a little bit better. Right over that area that's been opened up on one of the double panels leading to the back of CEO. A Yokai has been sent there from Suzu just to watch on over in the CEO defense. Final round of live action before we go to overtime, and Gatorado walks right into Nade. And it's CAG to get the first pick.
It's huge. Top Gunner, Nade, the frag grenades off the board. No more phantom pressure from that nuke either as an operator. Now the pressure really is on Black Dragons because now they lost that advantage point that they so wanted to keep and they were fighting so hard for to maintain. Now they've stuck with their top square attacks. They opened up the wall successfully. The OSA is the next step for this strategy. Get those talent shield placed down. Get a strong foundation going. Suzuki has the Yokai drones. You have C4 on both Black Ray and Alligator, but neither in a position to use it right now. The plan could go down if they were to go for it.
Upside down rappel here from Perez to look deep into the bomb site. A disorienting gaze. Black Ray might contest this. It depends on if the head position of Perez is exposed. There is a way to be on that rappel upside down.
Oh, that's the C4. It's rotating.
Alligator's getting the call for it. An awfully quiet matchup with only 15 seconds left on the clock. Anaton, the first casualty for CAG. The Dokkaebi down below. Alligator with Nitro Cell potentially looking for it, but he wins the fight against Patoxy. Suzu goes down. Diffuser not planted. Baseto taken out. The diffuser needs to be retrieved, but they're not going to get it done. CYCLOPS picks up their first victory in Sweden.
And to fight for it, but they did it, and they remain composed. At the rotations in these final rounds, they really made sure that they had an answer for every single outcome. Whether it's the C4 below, the Yokai drones, a duo system, and of course, Alligator just winning individual gunfights in those final 2 rounds really stood out to me as the key member to ensure that they had a lead somewhere in those moments.
A much more structured style of play by CAG, not committing even close to the number of mistakes that we saw out of them yesterday. APAC, a region that has not exactly had the success that we have come to know at this event, find themselves a second victory, and it comes to the APAC North squad from Japan of CAG. That's it for this matchup. Black Dragons denied overtime, all 3 points for KAG, throwing this group into total chaos, and boy, do we love it. That's it for this matchup. We'll be back to break it down in just a couple minutes.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do you do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck. Well, the improbable at the start of today happened. CYCLOPS toppling Black Dragons by a score of 7-5. We needed all of the rounds to get there, but it
it happened. And
Got done.
CAG picks up 3 huge points. And we'll get to see how that reflects on this group, because while we casted that match, there was the Sonics and M&M Gaming match that was happening on the other stream that we actually don't know the results to.
Nope, just heard yelling. That's about it.
Lots and lots of yelling, but nothing else besides that. Walk me through this CAG game.
Oh boy.
This CAG victory, this Black Dragons loss. What really stood out to you in the match?
I mean, for starters, CAG went back to the map they lost on Bank. That's like the first thing that pops up. I'm thinking, that's a bad idea unless you got really good things you figured out studying that game back.
Right.
They showed that, right? Whether it's adapting how they were attacking from different angles, going for a backside attack, or sorry, a frontside attack on a basement, going lobby hatch, etc. Or when they defend open area, bringing a bandit, shut down the heart breach and try and solidify the bomb side. Sure, they didn't win that particular round, but it shows that they studied their own gameplay and what they could do to counter Black Dragons, and that's what I like to see. Instead of just repeating the same thing, saying, nah, some things just went wrong, we'll try the exact same thing with different results. That's madness, right?
I mean, 2 rounds in particular really stood out to me. Those were rounds 1 and 2. Huge mistakes committed right away with 2 team kills.
The team kills, yeah.
Could have possibly changed the entire trajectory of this match, but CAG kept their head in it. They kept it level, and they kept competing. And I mean, even Black Dragons, if I remember correctly, had a team kill in the later rounds amidst the frenzy that unfolds when an execute goes out. I will say, CAG are often talked about for being a chaotic team that thrives off of the unpredictable. But today they were restrained, they were measured, and they ultimately came out on top because of it. And it's not even like Black Dragons are not strong competition.
No, they are.
Impressive victories today. So for CAG to pull this off, they are still quite competitive.
I mean, CAG played very structured, and I think almost too structured in some rounds where they're thinking, we got a 4 versus 2, let's not even swing for information, just play super, super passive. And what happened on this open air round right here? Well, Black Dragons, they walk in and they planned because CAG is playing too structured, right? They're not taking that aggressive, chaotic plays that they used to have, and it's allowing for some gaps in their play style. But they figured out towards the end. They didn't choke, they didn't go OT. They got that 7-5 victory. And sure, Gator on the kill board, he really showed up in that last 4 to 5 rounds in defense, 13-8. But it was a team effort, 7, 7, 8, 6 kills from the other 4 members. Whereas Black Dragons, well, Ian dropped just 4 kills. It was actually Nade top gunning because Perez, he went even 8-8, whereas last time was what, that 21-22 kill streak. So CAG also, they maintained that rate boss, like you mentioned.
I mean, if you're going to drop 21 kills, 21 kills, as Perez did yesterday. If you're going to drop 21 kills, there's a very high likelihood that your team is going to win. Now, obviously, it's not a given. If you remember way back in the day, Rampy's team, when he was playing on Space Station, he tied the record, or he broke the record for most kills online, and his team still tied.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a given. But 21 kills is awfully hard to overcome, especially when you have Gator and Black Ray, the 2 players on CAG who are supposed to be able to go to toe-to-toe against people like Perez, basically not spawning into the server. And that's what we saw yesterday. It was the supporting cast who showed up big. Everybody showed up big today for CAG, and because of that, those small improvements, the game of inches, as we call it, that's why CAG was able to come out on top, alongside the comments that you made about strategy and the way that they were able to change up their approach to a map that they'd already played against an opponent that they'd already played it against.
Yeah, I mean, containing a certain member and like limiting their performance has always been a strategy, right? We go back and talk about Nesk back in year 2, for God's sake. You always got to shut down star players. They did a good job at that. Looks like we can see who won that previous game, or the other game, rather.
You don't need to be a mathematician to know that Sonic, sitting at 9 points when they started at 6 points before the match, came out ahead. They topple M&M Gaming in regulation, and this, as I said, this is part of that chaos timeline. I mean, I needed M&M to win, but for it to be totally chaotic.
Okay.
But Black Dragons, M&M, and CYCLOPS all sitting at 5 points. This group is done for the day. Group A has no more matches tomorrow. This is where we will see who goes forward. So none of these teams go home today. All 4 of the teams in Group A live to see another day, and those matchups are going to be incredibly important to watch. You want to make predictions? If I put you on the spot, do you want to try to guess?
I'll do a really hot take.
Okay.
Sonics makes it to playoffs.
Really?
Yeah, that's my prediction. I actually have them in my personal prediction, making it to top 4 of the entire tournament. Yeah, high praise.
Oh my.
Yeah.
You know, I think that most of the subreddit would be unhappy with you for that because they think that the Sonics are on fraud watch.
I know they think so, but I believe in them. Honestly, I do. Watching NAL stage, I'm like, they can do it. But when it comes to M&M, Black Dragons, and CIG, I don't know who to pick as my second team. Like, my heart says Europe, so that's M&M for you. But they haven't really shown up on day number 2. So can I do that? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. We still got more matches to go. 3 more on this broadcast, in fact. And we want to get to them. So let's waste no time. A short break, and then we'll come back as the Jönköping Major continues to roll on.